What it do? What it do? July 18th. Is that today? I don't know today, but I just
Yeah,
know I know it's good to be back on the West Coast.
always. Let me take these glasses off. I got that glare. I don't want that
You got the
glare
glare. Well,
in the
I
camera.
can't see. I'm suffering. I got jet lag. I got airport lag. I got everything. So it's good to be back in the house. Uh, Montell Allen, how you living, brother?
Absolutely. Blessed, man. Like I told you, uh, blessed to be stressed.
Blessed to
So
be
can never
stressed. Oh
complain about
goodness,
that.
I love it. I love it.
Always happy, man. Hey, God couldn't bless me no more than He's already have because I think, man, I'm living that life. Even
And then
through my
don't.
struggles, I'm living that life. So, man,
There
I
it
can't
is. Yeah,
complain.
don't get greedy, huh? Don't get greedy, right?
Yeah,
Take the
yeah.
good, the bad, and only indifferent. I ain't mad at that. That's
Absolutely,
dope.
absolutely.
That's dope. Well, listen, man, we got folks chiming in, and we gonna start on time. We gonna be punctual. We got a handful of stories we want to get into, but we always like to start with who it is, what it is that we about. Team No Sleep, social impact of sport, and we like to talk about those hard conversations and try to get some dialogue going with the folks in the building. So we see y'all chiming in. We're gonna give some respect first because we lost a couple of uh, legends again this week. It's unfortunate that we continue to have these situations where we lose folks. And Joe Jellybean Bryant,
Hmm?
Joe Jellybean Bryant, the man who taught Black Mamba himself. So Kobe's father passed away this week from a massive stroke. So we want to give prayers to that entire family as they continue to go through uh, unfortunate public losses as well, right? I mean, it's different when it's a private loss and it's just, it's just a regular family, but it's the Bryant family, so everything is very public. So we want to talk about that as well as they try to deal with that.
Yeah, yeah. My prayers go out to the family dealing with all this. I mean, they seem like they just can't catch a break, right?
Yeah,
They're just getting over, grieving from Kobe and all the celebration he's going through, and just maybe life is trying to get a little bit back to what we call so-called normal without him and Gianna. And then now the father passes away. It's just unfortunate, man. And all we could do is just pray for their strength, pray for them, to get through these trying times, and you know, shout out to the Bryant family, man. Our prayers and condolences go out to you.
definitely. Along with that, we lost another gentleman this week, and this one, of course, Joe Bryant grabs me as well. But man, we lost this young cat right here. We lost Jacoby Jones. Reason why this one grabs me because he's only
Yes.
40 years old, and Jacoby died in his sleep. All right, 40 years old, athlete, peak of conditioning, peak of physical health, all that. They still haven't actually determined exactly what happened to him, but for a 40-year-old star athlete who we all remember, him and Flacco connecting for the what was it they called it that play? Oh man, what was it called? The Mile High Miracle. Flacco
Hmm.
throws the ball and Jacoby catches that. But again, a 40-year-old young man passed away in his sleep, man. That's tragic right there. So we want to give some homage to that unfortunate
Yeah,
situation as well.
yeah. Prayers to the Jones family as well. Obviously a legend in the Baltimore Ravens. History for what he did that catch and for what he did for that season while they won the Super Bowl. Um, Man, it's that right there is scary.
Yeah,
That's scary because we got to kind of take ourselves back. The last 10 years, man, we went through a lot as a culture, as a community, as people in the United States. We went through the COVID vaccination where we're still trying to figure out what the after effects of the vaccination are for a lot of people. We went through all these stressful times with the up and down with the riots and all these racial issues, and then the transferring of presidents from Obama to Trump, now back to Biden. All those things are kind of laying in place. And you got to think, he lived in Baltimore. That's the height. That's the epicenter of all that stuff going on, and where it comes on out. So stress, just social stress, not to mention family stress we all deal with every day with family and all that stuff. Put that on top of taking probably, like, oh, I don't know if he took the vaccination, but mine took the vaccination at that time. Mix that with also with whatever else is in his body, maybe alcohol a little bit because, grown man living his best life and so on and so on, and all these extra things that go on. It's scary that someone that's 40 years old has passed away in their sleep. I just think that's a
you
message.
think about that. We don't have any recourse to that. We can't say that I'm a go to the doctor and get a whatever vaccine, or I'm gonna change my nutrition or whatever. Right? There's nothing that we can figure out thus far why Jacoby is no longer with us at 40 years old.
But I think that
every night we all go to sleep, and then here it is. Someone went to sleep and didn't come back.
I think we got to make this a message. This has got to be the message. And I mean, obviously, we want to leave a legacy with anyone, but the message is we have to be mindful of our bodies and who we are. When you feel, and I'm not saying that he felt it or not. I'm not quite sure because I don't know his history, but I'm saying if you feel something wrong with yourself or you feel something that's out of whack or out of balance, it's probably possible you need to go get checked out, get a checkup. All of us, even if it's just brain fog, right? We call this thing brain fog when we're a little out of it, a little woozy. That's not normal. It's not. And if you're experiencing just something that's slight of a symptom, maybe that's causing something else. If you got anything, I think this is that wake up call that you got to get yourself checked out. And I'm guilty of it like everybody else. I don't go to the doctor. I think I'm hero, Superman. I can get through it. Oh, it's just a little swollen to the ankle or whatever. But I think this is a reminder we need to start taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Because in all actuality, we're about to go through some more stressful times in society.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'll take it even a step further and say one thing for sure that I know of: men, unfortunately, don't take as good care of ourselves. We'll think it's just nothing. We'll take some Robitussin. We'll take a couple of aspirin or whatever case may be. But men as well need to be responsible, more conscious of taking care of their health.
Right. Peel that onion back. Black and brown men especially don't take care of themselves.
There we go. Y'all know we was gonna get into something. I love it.
Yeah, Black and Latino men do not take care of themselves the way we're supposed to, especially when we feel an ailment. I mean, I'll be the first one guilty. Colonoscopy scares the shit out of me. And pardon my French. No one's playing with me back there at all. I'm not doing it. It's something from I grew up with. That's the wrong thing to do. I'm not having it. It's just something in my psyche that I can't have. So I neglect that. So I have to do the little mail thing. You want to mail it, you got to mail stuff to them.
That's even tough too sometimes, right? That's even right. You don't want to get that close.
But what I'm saying is that Black and brown men do not take care of themselves health-wise, especially as we get older. A lot of it has to do with access, right? And actually, the social economic thing has a lot to do with it as well, right? Depending on where you live, those things aren't available to you, or it's very hard to get in. But we need to make a conscious effort to be very mindful of our health if we want to live longer. Because, again, man, times have changed. The food is worse than what it was before. Stress, everything. The stress, like I said before, things that's just going on in regular day life. The economy is doing bad. People it's just a really trying times. And you got to take your health as a priority in these trying times. Even though you're trying to just survive, you got to take your health in accommodation for that. And in account for that. So to make sure, not accommodation, in account for that to make sure you're okay. Because at the end of the day, when that light goes out, man, there's no coming back.
Listen, we getting real and we speaking the truth. I'm actually, since we're along this topic, I'm going to switch some of the stories we were going to talk about because it falls in line kind of with what we were saying here. Okay. And taking care of yourself. When you feel something wrong, maybe go get it checked out. Go get those physical exams and things like that. And also know when something is wrong. And I'm the baseball guy. I was watching the home run derby and all this. National anthem was being performed by Ingrid Andress, Grammy-nominated singer. Gets up there. So she's sang in public before. I'm not sure if you saw this or heard about this story up until this point, but she goes up there, performs the national anthem. She's completely drunk. and the performance was not as bad as a Roseanne Barr or who's old girl from the Black Eyed Peas. It wasn't as bad, but she was
Fergie.
intoxicated. So for frame of
Yeah.
reference, she was intoxicated. Afterwards, she knew that she was, and everyone could tell as well. She acknowledged it. But what she has done, she said, you know what? I have a problem. I have an issue. I shouldn't have been inebriated to this point when I was doing such an important event. I'm checking myself in for treatment. So again, seeing the issue, seeing the problem, and again, immediately knowing that it gotten to a point where it's too far. And now I've embarrassed myself. Now I made a spectacle of myself. People see me at my least greatest when I should be at my most best. So she's now checking herself into treatment. So again, when something ain't right, get it looked at, get it checked out, seek help. Seek help.
Yeah, and I think that we we don't do it enough, but especially as Black and brown,
Yeah.
we definitely don't focus on the mental health part, and we don't focus on the self-identifying and issue part.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened generation over generation, right? We've been taught to be that way, right? We've been taught not to express our feelings like that. We've been taught that you don't do these certain things as young Black and brown men.
Mm-hmm.
And I lump us all in the same because we grow up together. Black and brown, at least where we're from, we grew up with the same. Black and brown, we all do the same, so I lump us together. But us as men of color have been taught not to show our emotions. Like, we don't believe in therapy. Majority of us, we don't believe in therapy.
That's true, yeah.
You know, I didn't believe in it at first, and I never was open to it, and I still would have a hard time dealing with it, doing therapy. But I know that it's there, and I know it helps certain people. Got to give a shout out to Mr. Fab in Oakland. He does a thing called Thug Therapy. That's sponsored by Steph Curry, which basically he takes Black men in the hood and they talk about the issues and their problems and the stress and things that's going on in their life to help them relieve themselves, help them relieve some of that tension so they'll be able to have a better day the next day.
Right.
All this transpires, man, from your health to your mental health to, the way you act, your physical, everything. We have to be mindful and identify it and quit lying to ourselves, right? We got to quit lying to ourselves.
That's because everyone else can see it. It's funny because everyone else can see it when there's an ailment or when something's wrong, and you continue to lie to yourself. Not gonna get political here, but something like what's happening now with Biden, right? I mean, 99.9% of the country sees it, and the world sees it. He's in his own way right now, and not wanting to tap out or step to the side. But again, it's just a thing where when something's not right.
But you got it now. We're gonna add a layer to what we're talking about.
Let's go.
Now imagine you're an athlete.
Yeah.
You're an athlete. You're top dog. You're a person who's been working out all your life. You're a person that's been able to run all your life. You might slow down a little bit, but you still got some of it. You're really in denial. God bless Larry Allen, who just passed away a few weeks ago, the strongest man in the NFL, and he was still huge and big when he passed away, unfortunately. But someone like that has been the epitome of their sport. Healthy, or at least we deem we're still healthy. We have a hard time looking in the mirror and not lying to ourselves and saying there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Even when other people see it, like you said, we have a hard time doing it. And for this young lady to do that in this thing, obviously she was in she probably depression or whatever she's doing that makes her drink excessively in order for her to perform, to do that in that moment. But I got to speak specifically of us. We do not admit it to ourselves, and we damn sure don't admit it to others until it goes all the way bad, right? When it's all the way bad, then we're in the hospital and oh yeah, I've been feeling this pain for then you might come clean and admit a little bit of it. But I think even then you want to embellish it a little bit, right? You don't want to tell the full truth of what's going on with you, and that's something that our culture has to get over at some point.
What is it? What is that? Is are we too proud? Why is it that,
yeah.
And folks in the comments, listen, y'all chime in too. We see what's that with you, Tony Davis, man. I see you, brother. See you, Marvin, too. I mean, why is it that we are we ashamed to go out and find some help?
I think a lot of it, man, has been brought down from generation to generation because no access. If you never had access, if you didn't have access to it, like your great grandfather and my great grandfather, they probably didn't have access to health care.
Yeah.
They didn't have access to those types of things. So they taught their kids what they know. Drink some cough syrup or drink some of this or drink some ginger ale, and it'll be done with. And then your grandfather passed it on to your father, right? You don't need to go to the hospital, rub some dirt on it. You're going to be all right. Go outside. You're fine. Nothing's wrong with you. When you're depressed, get over it, boy. You ain't got time. All that stuff's been passed on, and now it's passed on to us. And then at some point, we got to break that cycle to be like, hey, there's something wrong. You need to go get checked out and get it fixed, or figure out what's going on so you can correct what's going on, the issue. And I'm talking health-wise as well as mental health.
Yeah.
You got to be able to identify those things. And the biggest culprit is ourselves because we lie to ourselves in the mirror. Pride is, you're right, Marvin. Pride is one of it. But pride is out for everybody else. I'm talking about looking in the mirror and lying to yourself. We are convincing ourselves that there's nothing wrong when there is something wrong. And I'm be the number one. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it as well. My wife would tell me, "What's wrong with your leg?" Oh, nothing wrong when I'm good.
Yeah. I'm saying when I'm looking to see if my wife listening to me because I'm the exact same way, right? Stubborn is what it is. Just stubborn.
I ain't trying to hear all that. I'm fine. Give me a couple of days, I'll be all right. Well, you walking funny, yeah. Blah blah blah. I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else. And I'm telling you, I'm wrong when I do that. I'm wrong. I'm just as wrong as everybody else when we do that. We got to be able to somehow at some point break that cycle. And my wife always tells me, I think, which is the best advice. She goes, you got to stop being selfish when you do that. Quit lying to yourself in the mirror and being selfish because you being selfish is going to take away yourself away from our family.
That's it right there, right? So again, that's the mind bend that we need to have, right? Because we're sitting here thinking that, it's just us. But now again, there's that domino effect that we talk about a lot. It's a selfish behavior if you don't take care of yourself, because now you got a wife, you got kids, you got a dog, you got all these other things around you that are going to be affected if you're hospitalized, you're no longer around, you're in jail, whatever the case may be. So again, that's the point right there that I think really is going to resonate, hopefully, and hit home with this conversation, man.
But you know what's crazy is being a former athlete and doing those things. You got to weigh your machismo with your selfishness. Like where's that schedule to? Because I tend to think, I think I'm selfish. At least around my family, I tend to think I'm a macho man. I'm a man's man. I pride myself in doing a lot of things that I do, but I also got to somehow balance that out and say I got to quit being selfish and take care of myself, or quit being selfish and lying and take care of myself and not be selfish with my time or with my with the hours I got on this earth. Right? You got to be able to. I want to maximize all the time I got on this earth and not be selfish with it. And part of that means I have to get myself checked out mentally as well as physically in order to survive. So just a wake-up call, man. And Jacoby, I prayed, man, for his family and his friends and people around him because, that's just too short to be on this earth.
Yeah.
And we don't know what happened to him, but I pray for his family and his family, his mom and his dad, and I wish them all the condolences in the world. But I think that's got to be the silver lining in this kind of story. We have to do better in taking care of us.
Also, the man of the house position. Got to keep going. Again, there it is right there. Again, we selfish thinking. If we miss a step, everything falls apart or things get out of kilter. So, but I hear that. We all of these are excuses. All of these are excuses, though, right? Because again, at the end of the day, when we laying up in Kaiser or Sutter or wherever, and Doc come in with some news.
I mean, but I feel Marvin on that because it's true, man. Because I live by that motto. I do. I really, truly do. I talked to you about it. Depression. I don't have time to be depressed. I don't. I think me personally, I'm not offending anybody that goes this. I believe depression is a privilege. Because me personally, I don't have time to be depressed. When things are down, I got to still get up and make things happen. Because I got to provide for my family. And I'm not knocking nobody. That's just my motto. Please, I don't want nobody out there that's going through depression to get on me. That's just my motto. And I do. If you have depression, please, you have my sympathy. I do understand. I'm saying for me personally, I think depression is a privilege because I personally don't have time to do it. I really don't. I don't have time to sit around and be sad. I don't have time to sit around and mope. I don't have time to sit around and cry about things. I don't have time to complain about things. And I don't have time to be in that kind of bad mood. I have to maximize my time to do things so I can provide for my family. So, and I don't want to minimize their condition or anything like that. I'm just saying that's for me. That's just my personal thing. And please, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just speaking my truth. So, I believe in what Marvin said. I really do. Because I live by that motto. And be honest with you, that's selfish, right? That is a selfish way to look at things. I can admit that. But
did we just have an intervention just now amongst
no,
ourselves?
man. I'm just no. But I mean, we gotta acknowledge everybody how everyone feels, at least through our lens, right?
True.
How we go through our lens. And I never want to lie to our audience.
Yeah.
I'd rather be transparent than lie. So let's just be honest with it. You know, I'm a hypocrite when it comes to that. I'm saying we need to do it, but I'm the one that probably won't do it. It's the right thing to go do it, but I'm probably gonna be the ones that
You don't want to show up half the time.
I'm gonna keep on lying to myself, and keep it on moving. So,
I tell you what. In November, which is actually Movember, Men's Health Awareness, prostate, colon, and all that health awareness month. We gonna make sure we all get checked at the same time. I grow the beard extra crispy. I got a lot of salt in there right now, but in November for Movember, that's when we're gonna put a challenge out to the Team No Sleep community to make sure that we get ourselves looked at.
Especially former athletes, man, because we think we're invincible.
Yeah,
we do. We think we're very invincible. I a quick story the other day. I've always been stronger than my son, always, and now he finally passed me up. My younger son, he finally passed me up, and we're getting on the bench, and we doing 275. I can't hang no more, man. I couldn't hang no more. I got to come to the groups that I can't. My 2, he getting 5.
Man,
that's it. I can't rock with it no more. So, I gotta admit to myself that I'm not I'm invincible now. It ain't like that no more. So I think we all just gotta be honest with ourselves. And I know, and I'm the first one. I'm not. So, but we do have to do that in order to take care of ourselves.
That's true. You got to take them 45s off, put some 35s on. It's okay. We not mad at you because I'm in that same boat with my son. Marvin says, listen, somewhere you have a release where you can unwind. Somewhere you have a release where you can unwind. So again, we're going to continue to push each other to make sure that we do better as well, right? Let's just make sure that we take care of each other and take care of ourselves. Mr. Dan Roth is in the building. He's a good man as well. Glad you joined us for this conversation. All right, there's a couple of stories there that we went into. Let's go on to another one. This is just relevant to me because I've spent the last 36, 48 hours either stuck in an airport, sleeping in an airport, 35,000 feet in the air, whatever the case may be. But I didn't have a situation similar to our dude, Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis, and I call him Terrell. It's not Terrell. I call him Terrell. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Handcuffed and removed from a United flight for an incident with a flight attendant. They were in the air. I'll give you the cliff notes here. One of the flight attendants accused Mr. Davis of hitting her, when he was actually just trying to get the flight attendant's attention because Terrell's son asked for a glass of water. Flight attendant didn't hear him. So Terrell was like, hey, Mrs. Flight attendant, my son wanted some water. And the flight attendant apparently got belligerent, said, don't hit me, caused a little scene on the plane. Soon as they landed, FBI, SWAT, Beverly Hillbillies, all the police were sitting there waiting for Mr. Davis. I'm making light of it slightly only because after further investigation, come to find out that Mr. Davis was accurate. Because there were on the plane witnesses. Everyone said, man, flight attendant got the tripping or something. Something was not their day, and accused Terrell of hitting them. So long story short, this can happen to anybody. Happens all the time, every day to regular folks. But here we have a NFL Hall of Famer on the flight with his wife and with his child, getting embarrassed in front of them, getting embarrassed in front of everybody on the flight, and being accused of doing something that he did not do. And it's not just hearsay, it's because also everyone around him said, no, Terrell didn't do nothing. Flight attendant was tripping. What are we going to do about this, man? What are we going to do?
Man, well, United's got a track record of doing this, right?
I never fly to United.
falsely accusing people. Or I don't either. I don't fly United. If I can to avoid it the rest of my life, I will not fly United. But to me, I don't know, man. This is indicative of kind of our society, right? I mean, cry wolf and hope for somebody reacts the right way and you get your way, or you get called out on it, right? And fortunately for him, you know, there were witnesses that were on his side. But we got to think about someone that's not named Terrell Davis. That's a Super Bowl champion. Let's talk about if Montell Allen was in that situation with his family.
Come on.
You know, if the circumstances will be harder. My story would be a lot harder to convince them that I didn't do anything, regardless of their witnesses. He, a Super Bowl champion, they're going to listen, right? Oh, they're probably fans and they know who he is, right? Oh, okay, well, what happened? And they'll listen to his story. Montell Allen's going to be sitting there for about 4 or 5 hours so they figure it all out and get everybody else testimony before they even want to hear mine. You know, see what's going on. That's number one, to be that in front of his kids and embarrassed in front of his family. That there's no cost for that, you know. And United Airlines only issued the statement. They need to do more. I don't care about the guy being left on. He's on leave now because of what happened and all that. You need to do more. If anybody, I think that pilot was trying to get compensated for a situation. Why don't airlines compensate Terrell Davis for their employees' behavior? So, I mean, I don't. Man, it's a wicked world out there.
You definitely have to be on the offense a lot, right? You can't be just complacent, and you have to just be aware of all these situations. And because again, that's just crazy talk right there.
Because me and you fly, we fly pretty often, right?
Yeah.
You know, at least more than the average person. We fly a lot. That could happen to any of us. Any of us. I mean, and like I said, no one's checking on James Hicks and Montell, their story. FBI's going the airport security will come, handcuff us, arrest us, take us on. Our story doesn't matter till he hears everybody else's. That's the God honest truth. You may the people don't want to believe that or not, but that's it. And our story doesn't matter till they hear everybody else's. And then once they hear everybody else's, they'll get what we have to say and then make a determination what they want to do. I'm pretty sure with Terrell, they listened to what he had to say and probably confirmed it with everybody else. And then, okay, you know, nothing happened. It's cool. You got to go. Also, you're a Super Bowl champion, a millionaire. So, hey, you know what? It was just a big misunderstanding under the bridge. If it's me or you, United's not making no statement. United's not going to say anything.
No.
Oh, no. Sorry. You know, it works. It works. The only person going to say sorry is maybe the manager at the airport. That's it. And give you maybe a voucher to fly free again. I don't want to fly on your punk airlines no more than this happened one time.
Yeah, our story would not make NPR, right?
Nah.
It would not make NPR. But so, and that being said, everyone here, we common folk, listen, we go out there and like Montell said, right, we out here flying, we traveling, engaging with society and the public. You just got to be aware. Because if it can happen to this guy who was just trying to get some water for his son.
It can happen to anybody.
Happen to anybody.
And God forbid you defending yourself, right?
Yes.
You got to think of the situation, take one step further. What if Terrell would have got offended and started defending himself against this person and having a full-fledged out argument? Because I read his story. He said he didn't argue. He just ignored it, didn't say anything else to the person anymore. So he handled it the right way. He did. He didn't blow. But what if one of us loses our temper and engages back with this person and starts arguing? The situation escalates and even get worse. And I would be in the right. I'm not in the wrong for defending myself, but it would escalate and it would be something more. I would be the one that's in more trouble for escalating.
Yeah.
Even if I'm defending myself.
Yeah.
Which is sad, man. Which is pretty sad. It's just sad, man. I'm sorry, and I know I met Terrell several times because he's from the San Diego area. I went to Lincoln High and went on to Long Beach State, Georgia, and the rest is history. Good guy. Well, I mean, one of the best guys you ever want to meet. Gives back to the community. His brother's a pillar in the community, what he does with the youth, and does all these things there. His family's been there forever. The Davis family's pretty famous in San Diego for everything that they've done. And it's sad to see somebody that's good, that does so much for so many people, to get caught up in a situation like that. It's kind of unfair.
I would just say, I think my dad is still online here. I got into a little altercation at the airport A few times. Well, one time in particular, before many years ago, and it got we got a little furniture moving. We had some words being exchanged and all that. But now, since the world has changed so dramatically, so this was pre 9/11.
Mhm.
Now, I would not escalate it to that point to where I'm either gonna get locked up, I'm gonna get put on a no-fly list or whatever. Right. So, I mean, now I'm kind of more conscious of how far to argue or debate something, especially at one of those locations where again a lot is riding on it. Again, we got more things to worry about. So, but again, this man didn't do anything. So be aware, folks, of your
Hey,
surroundings.
before we go to the next story, man, I'm mad at you because you and Miss Hicks had to stay up in there in the
Listen,
airport laying on hard chairs. You should have took your butt to a hotel. I don't
listen,
want to
man.
hear that.
See,
You
okay.
should have booked that hotel.
Let me explain. Hold up. Again, we yes, we did sleep in the LaGuardia airport uh, overnight. And no, it's not a comfortable situation. No, it wasn't a nice situation, but couches was okay. It was okay. When we got bumped from our flight and looked for a hotel, it was $350 for one night at a hotel in that area. My wife saw that number. She said, "Listen, go. We gonna roll up on this couch right here, and I see you. I see you in a couple hours. We right. We decided to
So
forego
so
that.
so she gonna do like you do me in Vegas and fall asleep on the couch.
That's it, pretty much, man. Pretty much. When she saw the number, because she was looking up the number and said, we just go get a hotel, because I wanna wash up, I want to brush my teeth and all that, woo woo. But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
the numbers came back because it was very late in the evening, and we didn't have many choices because there was, I mean, our whole flight got bumped, so a lot of other people were trying to find stuff too. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
Uber
yeah,
surge pricing, right? Oh, we got
yeah,
175 people that going nowhere tonight. Price jacks,
yeah.
price hike. $350. We decided not to.
Yeah, that's a steep one for one night, man. If I ain't standing, I got to be standing in a 5-star event type to be spending $350 for one night. So I hear you on that, but
You
Carol
just
Hicks
you put
deserves
me
better,
out there
man.
on Front
She
Street
deserved
like
that
that.
350, man. She deserved that 350.
She
Quit
didn't
holding
want to
out
do
on
it.
her.
She didn't want to do it. And Marvin, yes, I know. I got friends in the business and got connections, but I looked at that particular airline, and that particular airline didn't have anything going out at that time of the night from the East Coast anywhere close to where I needed to be. So I checked the website.
They didn't give you no hotel vouchers, though. They didn't give
No,
you guys no hotel
see,
vouchers for
now you're gonna get now. I'm gonna get upset here. See, they claimed they claimed it was an issue with too much traffic, too much air traffic, but it wasn't an issue with the traffic that made us late. The jet bridge was actually stuck to the plane, and it broke, and it took them a long time to get the jet bridge moved. That was the delay in
Uh-huh.
getting us there. By the time we finally got in queue, we were in line with not hundreds, but tons of other planes. We sat out there on the runway, expended too much fuel to get to where we needed to go, so they had to turn us back to
Oh,
the airport to refuel. By that time, them dominoes started falling into place,
yeah.
and we were already going to miss our connecting flight because our connecting flight was the last flight out of Chicago. Listen, see, you got me reminiscing on bad times here, but that was my
I
story.
mean,
That's my.
hey, brother, you survived it. You good. It'd
Oh
be different if you
snap!
didn't
Hold
survive it.
on.
You good.
Hey,
You good.
see, she watching $350 in Queens for 6 hours. She was like, "No, man, we can't do this." So there we go, Montell. She's telling you right now. This is not just me
Okay,
talking. Don't
but
believe
I'm
me,
trying to defend. I'm trying to defend her.
bruh.
But it's called. I got it for six. Hey, like I said, that is a pretty healthy price to pay for 6 hours.
Yeah,
So I'm with you, man. You should at least bought her a sleep pillow or something around
man.
the
See,
neck
there,
to
there you
rub her
go.
feet
But then see,
while she went to sleep.
watch your tone now. She actually listening and watching now. Watch your tone. I did what I could. Did what I could.
All right,
Did I
man.
buy her something? I don't know.
Let's move on, man. Let's move on. I
I don't
got
know
you.
where to
I
go
know.
now, right? I'm all flustered and everything now. I got all kind of witnesses watching and listening. All right, listen. Let's go and get focused here. Let's get focused. All right, so kind of in line with this New York trip. We was there in New York. We went to have dinner. We went to a Colombian restaurant, and we watched the Copa America match, Argentina versus Colombia. You know about that soccer match?
Yeah.
Most of the world was rooting for Argentina because you got Messi on there. And listen, we just wanted to see that. You know me, I like a story. The place was hot, so shouts out to the restaurant. I'll put a link to it in the description so folks can know about that. But there were some other folks at the game. The head of Colombia soccer was there. He was there with his son. And they got to acting a fool. This man... So again, not just you, not just me, not just Marvin, not just Jen, so not just regular folk. The head of the Colombia Soccer Federation was there with his son. They got belligerent. They got drunk. He and his son end up getting arrested for fighting with security guards at the stadium. I saw aftermath pictures of the Hard Rock Stadium, and that just does not make sense for grown folks to tear up that venue like that. And now to put it on top of that, this guy, even though his team lost, whatever, but you should know better. I can understand maybe your son here, young cat, tearing up stuff, but you too?
Yeah.
That's your daddy right there, right?
Hey, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree, right? Ain't that what they say? So if your daddy act that way, you as a kid gone. Well, one, let's be real. So if your father's acting up like that, or your father's about to get in a confrontation, and you're a young man, you jumping in automatic. That's just on strength, right, wrong, and indifferent.
That's true.
Correct. So son might be busy jumping in. Vice versa. Son gets in an altercation, gets in an argument with you as a father, you jumping in, right, wrong, or indifferent. Am I correct?
There will be, like I say, there will be some furniture moving, there'll be some hands thrown, but again,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's not what this
was.
So
with that being said, no. They were drunk, and I think they both was getting rowdy into it. But I'm not gonna say there's not two sides to the story. I'm pretty sure security came in there and started, hey, y'all need to calm down, blah, blah, blah. And maybe they didn't, but they damn sure didn't de-escalate the situation. They kind of made it escalate. And when it starts escalating and you got alcohol involved, something's gonna happen. Yeah. And we know alcohol was involved. We know alcohol was definitely involved. So with that being all said, I get it. I get father, son. Hey, we gotta get back to back and start throwing these hands. And I understand security. Like, we gotta control y'all. Y'all gotta calm down and quit acting all crazy. Wrong is wrong, right is right.
Exactly what you said is what I got on the screen right here. Right, both father and son became irate as the guards started shouting at them. The Miller Genuine Drafts or whatever they were drinking. I may have just dated myself with that one, but listen, them margaritas they were drinking.
I understand how it escalated, but a person in that position, in his power, and the way he is in that arena, as far as his situation is, obviously he shouldn't have been doing that. He's in the wrong because not only they lost, but he embarrassed himself as a head of the Colombian soccer. His son is now an embarrassment, probably an embarrassment to the country because now that's their national sport. Yeah. That's their big thing.
One, they were already mad because they lost, right? And again, we were in the restaurant. We saw the reaction of folks cheering for Colombia and their reaction, but the head of it, that's just strike. That's two strikes on them.
I mean, you got to think about that. That's like saying Jerry Jones and his son getting arrested in a game.
Oh my gosh! I would love to report that story, boy.
That's like Jenny Buss and her son getting arrested in Boston. Because they got drunk and wanted to fight the security. We got, you got to put that kind of in perspective. It's very embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. But like I said, I try to look through both lenses because I know there's a right story, a wrong story, and there's something in the middle how it all happened. If it's my father or my son and they in an argument or they about to fight or they getting confrontational, I'm jumping in, regardless, and I'll just take my lumps. And I understand the police situation. They're trying to calm it down, but I think that alcohol took over. And once grown men start yelling at each other and arguments starting to go on and it gets escalated, eventually moving furniture and tossing stuff and fighting is probably going to end up happening, especially in a situation like that in Colombia and all that other good stuff. They're very proud, especially proud of their soccer.
Yeah.
And when they lost, I think that, all that stuff kind of comes into play. And then, whatever happened.
Sure. it is what it is. And again,
Yeah,
but you think about it too. So soccer is the most popular sport, as you know, across the globe, except for the United States. I don't know why, but that just is the case. But I hear more stories of at soccer matches where the crowd, there's hundreds of thousands of folks there, but they get belligerent, they very passionate, and then at the end of the match, the facility is tore up. And that part
yeah.
right there, I guess since I worked in event services and I worked in security for like 11 years, that part right there, I can't understand that, right? First you pay good
I
money to
mean,
get to a spot, and then you're going to tear up the location.
that's part of. I mean, but that's part of the dynamic of their sport. It happens in England. Let's not just single out Colombian. This
Come
is
on
the
now, let's
incident that
get
got on
into it.
TV and figure it out. It happens in England. You guys watch, what was that, Ted Lasso? You saw Ted Lasso? It happens all the time. It happens. That stuff happens. Oh boy, this Deadpool, he got a team. It happens over there in England all the time. In those pool races, especially when they're trying to advance to the other race or try to get to the championship to move.
Y'all
Man,
need to calm down, man.
tensions,
That's what it is.
yeah, tensions is heightened. I don't think they need to calm down, man. They need to quit serving alcohol. That's what it is.
There you go.
Just like they did,
Let
just
them
like they
sneak it
did in
in.
baseball.
Okay.
Well, remember baseball a long time ago? They used to serve alcohol past the seventh inning, and then
That's true.
you see all these fights and stuff happen. And baseball said, "Oh, we got to shut it down after the seventh inning. We ain't serving no more alcohol, regardless of the situation." They may have to do something like that. They might have to come up with something like that so they can stop the fighting if they want it. I don't think they want it, man. That stuff brings eyes on their sport, and it brings more pride to their teams to see them guys fighting in that. And I think those stadiums, granted, you say tears it up, but I think they're okay with it because the massive crowds and the money they make and all this stuff, it's just become a part of that culture in that sport, within that sport. You got the guys on the field, and you got people fighting in the stands.
My goodness. I have been to a soccer match. So I have been not to a large scale one like that, but to the local Sacramento FC. So I don't know how.
That don't count. That don't count.
I don't know how they.
You gotta go to international. You go to international when you tell me you like.
And I'm just gonna say, right? There's a gang of folks. They got their flags flying. They got the vuvuzelas. They got the noise. We stomping and everything. And some folks are rushing the pitch, getting out there on the field, and everything. I'm like, man, this is hectic. I can only imagine.
Well, I mean, can you imagine? Wait, before you go that far, can you imagine? Let's say take for a Dodgers and Giants game.
Mm-hmm. Been there. Yeah. Yankees and Red Sox. I've been there, so I know. Yeah.
So after every game, going back to the cars, there are fights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I right?
No, that's true. I almost instigated a fight. I don't know if my wife's still listening. I almost instigated a fight at a Red Sox and Yankees game. So yeah.
Old San Diego Chargers and old LA and then Oakland Raiders. Every time after the game, fight. So why is that any different? And I just mentioned baseball and basketball. I mean, football and baseball always fights no matter. How's that any different from soccer? Especially when they're playing their rivalries or in the situation. They just happen to, before it gets out of the stadium, they start fighting the thing. So it becomes part of the culture. Dodgers fighting Giants is part of the culture. They already understand it's going to happen. They already try to heighten security up to a maximum because they know that's going to happen because that's part of what happens. Whether you're in the Dodger Stadium or whether you're in San Francisco, there's always a fight between the Dodger fans and the San Francisco fans. There's always a fight between the Raider fans and the Charger fans.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost embraced and accepted. Right or wrong, it don't matter what your opinion if it's right or wrong, but that's accepted as fans in that culture.
Well, I will say this too, and I'll go along with what Dan is saying. A hockey match, you expect it's not a hockey game if there's not a fight at least out there on the ice, and that's one of the things that's drawing me to hockey, right? And again, it's just a weird dichotomy in the culture that's something that we expect, and I hear what Dan's saying, I hear what you're saying as well. I just not gonna tear up nobody else's property. Well, yeah, I will, but.
Hold on. Wait, Paul.
I know. I'm trying to retract that. Man, we live too. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Didn't you? Wasn't you the one that jumped out in the crowd from the Oregon State game?
What?
Yeah.
I couldn't. Cameras are messing up. Cameras are messing up.
So
let me explain. Yeah.
I think it's just part, man. I think in those cultures, it's become accepted, right? It's very accepted. I agree with you. I don't think you should tear up anybody's stuff. I think you should go to the game and enjoy it and have a good time. But in those cultures, in those events, that part of behavior is kind of almost expected. I should say it's expected to happen. You expect it. You go to a Giants in a Dodger game. You know when the Dodger fans is walking out, especially if they beat the Giants, they walking out. Somebody from the Giants fans is gonna say something. That alcohol is still in their system, and here it goes. Something's about to happen. At the very least, it's going to be a heavy argument.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. Okay. I'm reading more of the story. Yeah,
that's the least. Usually, it's fists. And in one unfortunate situation, several years back, a young man lost his life.
I remember that. At the Dodger game.
Yeah. Somebody he got stabbed and sorry for his family, but but that didn't stop the fighting. It still happens. It doesn't stop anything. It still goes on. There was a guy that was in at the Dodger Stadium, I believe, about several years ago. He got hit really hard, and he got hurt really, really bad. His spine and everything. So, man, but it hasn't stopped the fighting. It hasn't stopped those things from happening. I think what we're trying to bottom line to quit talking about this is that it's accepted in their culture that those fights are going to happen in the stands. It's something that happens in all those soccer games.
Just even like it happens in our baseball games. Even for the head of the federation. So he and his son. So you and your son, me and my son, we go to soccer match. Somebody, let's out the hootie hoo, and next thing you know, we in the middle throwing hands. Okay. Tell my wife what the bail money is, just in case we get him.
Yeah, you could. Hey man, I mean, I'll try to avoid it. but
you try to avoid it. I'll try to instigate it. All right, let me stop. I'm draining this one here. I was just taken aback by old boy and his son out there getting ahead of it. One that already lost, so he got to go back home and explain that. Now he got to explain that he got into an altercation fighting the police.
Well, he's probably going to be fired from his job. Well, I don't know how it works in those countries, but over here, he'd probably be fired. Unless you're the owner of the team. But also, retrospect, he might have got respect from all those players because he was fighting and defending the team. They may embrace him. I haven't. It's not business etiquette. That's what you're trying to say.
The world is so different and so crazy right now. You're right. He may be embraced. Old boy got grazed in his ear, and everyone at this convention is wearing fake bandages on their ear. So. Again, not trying to go political, but just saying it's a very weird time that we live in. And I'm gonna leave that.
I like how you snuck that in. That's good. That was good.
I'm gonna leave that alone right there. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Shirley P is in the building. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? Marvin says throw the hat up. Yeah, he don't think my man from Colombian know about throwing the hat up. That's that international sign that we use when it's time to go down. All right, let's bring this plane in, man. I want to talk about this last story right here, and we, going to try to be ending on some good things right here. And I think this is something that fits that bill right here, because we talk about this a lot. You talk about this a lot, so I'm gonna let you lead with this story right here. But I'll just read this. I'll read the headline: Allen University and Edward Waters University, two HBUs, have been elevated in NCAA divisions to NCAA Division II, which is. Yep. It's kind of part of all the reshuffling of all the conferences. Right now, we got Pac-10, SEC, we got Pac-2, whatever it is now. But I think this recognition for these institutions now getting elevated much higher brings about a lot of recognition in their program, financing, recognition, and so a lot of good things. This is a good story. So talk to us a little bit about what this really means when it comes to the athletes and. Being elevated to a Division II status.
Absolutely.
Especially for HBCU.
Both of these programs were NAIA, and now they've been elevated to Division II, which the big thing is funding, right? They get money now from the NCAA for their sports and follow the NCAA criteria. And what that does is that opens a more window for them to bring in more students and more people that want to play for them instead of having the stigma of the NAIA on them. And people don't know there's two college entities that supply sports. One is NCAA and one is NAIA. They both play sports. They actually intertwine with each other, but both are governed by a different body, and both admissions are completely different when it comes to playing sports. The regimen is, and also NAIs are usually typically found on a religious base, the more religious based schools than NCAA. But this is huge for both of those schools because now it allows them to recruit in their it gives them more scholarships to be able to divvy up amongst their athletes, and two, since they're elevated in NCAA, the stigma of NCAA is supposed to be higher or better. Now it allows them to be able to utilize that as a marketing tool to draw more students to come to their school, and the fact that it's the HBCU, which is great. Now they get to play in the HBCU realm against Limestone and all those other Division II schools. Albany University, I think, is Division I, but there's a couple of Shaw Universities out there. People know about Shaw University in North Carolina. Now they're elevated to play those guys and play them in conference and do all those good things. It's just a great movement all the way around for them two schools to petition to be in there and the NCAA to accept them. And now they were able to get that money and draw some more kids to be able to come to the university. I hope it happens more with a lot more schools.
Yeah.
But as we know, beyond this, the NCAA is doing there's a whole bunch going on with the NCAA right now. You know,
we don't have time to explain all that. Yeah.
First and foremost, the EA dropped the NCAA 2024 game, which I believe pre-sale sold over 1 million copies. And the official game that doesn't come out till next week. So that's a big thing. And the reason why I'm mentioning the video game is because the players get paid from it. And they got their images, likenesses in there. So that's a great thing.
That's a good thing. That really is a good thing, folks. And if you don't think that's a good thing, then shame on you. That's a good thing. So go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. And then number two, that just happened today, the SEC just announced they will be doing revenue sharing with the players. Up to $15 million.
Okay.
They'll be divided amongst the athletes. Yeah. So what that does, and you guys are here first, and nobody was talking about it, that is setting the SEC up in the Power 4 divisions to desegregate themselves from the NCAA. I'm going to say it one more time so you hear me.
Wow.
That is setting the Power 4 up to desegregate themselves from the NCAA and that governing body. Reason why I say they're going to desegregate from them. They already own all the TV rights, the Power 4. So what do we need the NCAA for? They've already got the infrastructure for football, which is the biggest moneymaker that brings in billions of dollars. All the teams are in their conference, in their super conferences. So what do I need you to govern me for? We're already setting our teams up to be able to do profit sharing amongst the athletes. So we don't even need you to govern and to distribute money. We can do it ourselves. The only thing that's holding them from desegregating right now is the NCAA. They haven't figured out how they're going to map that out with the Power 4, and they probably haven't figured out how they're going to do the World Series, but that doesn't make as much money. They have to figure out what they're going to do with the NCAA women's and men's brackets basketball, because that's the biggest thing for a lot of those athletes to go. They go and play in the tournament now, which is a big deal. But they've got everything aligned already, and once they figure out the basketball thing and how to deal with those women's and men's, I think the Power 4 will be its own entity. We'll have 3 football entities. It would no longer be. It'll be the NAI, NCAA, and the Power 4, whatever they want to call it.
There it is right there, folks. You heard it here first. Montell Allen coming with the, listen.
Timestamp this, because I promise you, somebody's going to talk about it, but it's a line, and I've been echoing it for me, and you talk offline about it all the time.
Right.
There's no need for them to be under the governing body. Everything fell into place. The money's already there. They already have the money. Every team that's going to the playoffs is coming out of the Power 4. Every team. Every team that plays in the bowl games is at least one team out of the Power 4. There's not really any major bowl that doesn't have a Power 4 team. So I control all the bowl games. They already control all the TV time because they own it from the West Coast to the East Coast, being in the Power 4. That's the structure they have. So in an entity, just like companies do, tell me why I need you to be the governing body and take some of our pocket money when we don't even need you.
Right. When you can cut your own deals and make your own deals.
Exactly. So I'm telling you, the only hiccup is women's and men's basketball tournament. They want to be able to have it somehow, to be able to have that still and have the basketball participate, because there's a lot of money in that. But I think as soon as they figure that out, as soon as they figure out a way to make that happen, or have something that's competitive to the NCAA tournament, kind of like, NIT is supposed to be to the tournament. As soon as the Power Four figures out some type of tournament to have to compete with the Sweet 64, the Power Four would desegregate from NCAA.
Y'all, I'm gonna let that marinate. Y'all think about that. And listen, if we hear in 4 hours, 2 hours, then I chop this up. If I hear ESPN, CBS, Fox, Stephen A, you and your $19 million. If I hear you saying the exact same thing verbatim, we gonna have gonna be some words. But and respectfully,
Nah,
yeah, you heard it here first. You heard it
yeah,
here first.
and that's cool that the SEC set it off with that, initiating the do profit sharing. That's gonna set it off, because now that's gonna force all the other Power Four conferences to do profit sharing as well. Guaranteed. It's just gonna be that way. All the way they'll lose all their athletes. They'll just go to the SEC. So they're not gonna do that. So each one is gonna set up their structure to be able to pay them profit sharing. I mean, now, man, these kids now, the school's gonna be paying them now. The school will be actually paying them some real money for them to participate in these games and being on TV. So, man, it's the writing on the wall that nobody wants to admit, right? It's the elephant in the room nobody wants to address, because everyone's looked at NCAA as being such a powerful entity. Power Four setting themselves up for a big one, man, and it's gonna happen. It's just like LIV, right? Wasn't ready for LIV going against the PGA, and it's here. It's going to be Power Four versus
need that disruption.
NCAA.
Need that disruption, right? Because so the LIV like that again, that disruption right there. And then we talked about NIL Day 0 before it happened, and the whole need for some type of governing board or some type of structure around that. I think it's now all of that is now, I think, starting to fall into place.
Well, what's funny, before we go, it's funny.
Yeah.
Look, the SEC has came up with a plan to figure out that funding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't the NCAA come up with a plan to do that funding? Right? It's a damn shame that the governing body of a conference has to come up with an ideology to do it and make everybody happy and do these things. Why didn't the NCAA, who's in charge of all of this, be able to come up with an ideology that says, we're going to be able to fund everybody and be able to do it? This is our plan to do it. They've never came out with that or said anything, or at least not to our knowledge. It hasn't been public knowledge. But the SEC is setting the tone. They're like, hey, we making this happen, making our move. That's going to transcend over the ACC. It's going to go to Big 10 and Big 12. They're going to do the same thing in all those conferences. And once those things happen and they figure out basketball, at that point, it's like we no longer need you as a governing body. We'll make our own rules. We'll govern our own teams, and we'll govern our own section. And we already own the TV money. The $1 billion contract is now with NCAA. It's with these schools,
which is crazy. And I along those lines, I don't think this would have had as much impact. And I may be wrong if the ACC or the Pac-10 did this. I think with the SEC doing this, because again, that's the powerhouse conference. The fact that the SEC did this, now the NCAA has to listen. If the Mountain West, listen, if this came out of the Mountain West, right, it'd have been like, come on, man, y'all go sit down. So,
but the thing is, if the NCAA doesn't step up, they better have a contingency plan when the Power Four breaks off. They better have something in place to say, okay, when the Power Four breaks off, we have to do something, because at that point, once they all get it aligned, we got to be honest with ourselves. There's no need for them to be the governing body. There's no need for us to have to cut you a check out of all the bowl games that we play in. There's no need for us to cut a check, because we own all the top-rated college games that come on TV from 7 a.m. in the morning all the way to 10 p.m. at night. Those are all of our games. We own all the TV. ESPN is signing a contract with us.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a huge shift in power. That's and that's the real money, right? We're talking about taking money from the gate and the merchandise. No, you get that TV right money. That's where it's at.
Our gear, and you're that's right. Our gear, our clothing is no longer NCAA branded on it. No, it's Power Four and whatever they want to call their entity. And that's $1 billion business in just memorabilia. That's $1 billion in TV money. So if I'm 4 conferences and we're generating billions of dollars, why do we have to share it with the other teams or the other entities? We don't want to. No, we keep it ourselves. That means we get more mega stadiums. That means we get more TV deals. That means we get more. And that's all money. And people, when they say greed, it's not greed. That's business.
Yeah.
That's straight business. That's how you have to be able to take care of business. If 4 things are making all the money for the 96% of the other, Hey, the four is like, we're gonna branch off to our own company, and it happens all the time in the high tech industries. They branch off onto their own to do their own thing because they can better govern them and manage their money themselves. So again, if they talk about them setting up to be getting prepared to desegregate from the NCAA, we said it first.
We said it first. We said it first. Listen, and we sitting over here, like Shirley said, we bipartisan, folks. We I don't know if I should be wearing the red shirt, but we bipartisan, just like Shirley says here. That's dope. I'm gonna do some research on that because again, this is going to be one of those things that mushrooms into a whole lot of that I don't think folks outside understand the ramification of this, but it's going to turn into a whole lot. It's going to change who you watch, where you watch, Paramount Plus, Amazon Live. It's going to change a whole lot. SEC Network. It's going to change all of that. Right. All of that is going to stem from this. And so I'm going to take the action item to watch this right here. Let me see. Dan is talking about desegregation just got announced on ESPN. What you talking about, brother? What you talk? I don't know. Is something happening in the news? I got my ticker over here going. I don't see anything about that, but we'll check that out.
We didn't even get 5 an hour or two. They talking about.
We try to maintain here. We try to maintain. Listen, man, we did what we needed to do. I'm gonna go sit here and watch this summer league again. Bronny over here not doing well, but we're not gonna talk bad about Bronny. He's coming into his own. He had his best game the other day, 12 points. Bronny James, shouts out to him. So, watching them, the Lakers playing the Cavs right now. We'll see how that all works out. Montell Allen, take us home, brother. I think we did what we needed to do tonight.
Hey, check up on your loved ones, man. Enjoy the rest of this summer. And everybody, please be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations because that's how we learn.
He said it. I just repeat it. Y'all take care of yourself. Make sure you tell someone to subscribe to the channel because we got some special guests coming. I'm going to drop that out there right now. Boom. Tell somebody, subscribe to the channel because that's what we do.
Bringing the heat, team no sleep, with champions meet. We're on the mic, taking over the game. No time for rest, no scrambling for fame. Talking sports, breaking it down from the court to the field. All around town, we stay up all night, grinding on the mic, bringing news, real stories on the fly. Montell's got the stats, James got the flow. Together we're two and ready to blow. From NBA to NFL and the MLB.